Greetings, people. It's Mr. PDT yet again on another episode of the Enlightenment series. I recently watched a video of today's service from John General's shrine, and the wife actually filled in the gap because I believe John General has been brought in for questioning or is under investigation, so he did not show up for the service today. The wife filled in the gap, and she was encouraging the members that, you know what, the man of God is being tested. The man of God is innocent. Do not allow yourselves to be disconnected from the anointing of the man of God, because this too shall pass. Don't allow this small matter to shake you or to discourage you to connect with the anointing upon our spiritual father. That was the wife speaking. And we still had some mugus in the auditorium clapping hands. Yes, one of God. John is our papa. But what do they really do, these people, to these our people, that makes them so gullible like that? How did they manage to convince them that without them they can't? Without them they can't prosper. Without them they can't succeed. My people, it's a long walk to freedom. Getting into the case now of John General, I know it will be good news to hear that he has been convicted or he has been sent to prison. But the question is there a case? Is there really a case that can take John General to prison? Can this woman prove that John General indeed forced himself on her? The other thing I meant to ask, when the husband got back and found John General, was he already on top of his wife? Had he already penetrated the promised land, or he was still undressing himself, or they were still doing maybe foreplay or something like that? Were they actually in the act? That's one thing I want to ask and also understand. The other aspect, if this woman was not caught, was she ever going to talk about it? Was she going to open a case? Or she's only opening a case because she was caught by the husband? And was she really forced? Or these two had been in a relationship? The only way we can establish this is by also doing an audit to find out for how long has this woman been a member of John General's shrine. If she has been a member for more than a month, 2 months, 3 months, and does she have a position in that shrine? If this is an established member of the shrine, my people, there was no force in this matter. These were two people enjoying themselves. The only reason why she would say I was forced is because she was caught red-handed, or she might be trying to save her face, or throw John General under the bus. What are circumstances that can probably lead to John being arrested or being convicted? I do not know how good the lawyers of the husband or of the wife can be to prove that there was some element of undue influence. Because in most cases of this nature, where women are forced by these pastors, it's mainly because of the influence that these pastors have over their followers. This particular issue, if they can be demonstrated that John the General exploited his power, authority, or trust over this woman to coerce her into this act, then it can be tied together with the definition of rape. If he exploited the influence that he has over her to solicit for these favors, be it a relationship or the actual act, this can lead to John Vulligate being charged with manipulation of the victim. One aspect that can be considered, if there exists a power imbalance, if the accused, John, has a power imbalance over the victim, this can be used to get John charged or to support this case of rape. Is there a power imbalance between John and the victim? Indeed, there is. She could have been promised that if you do not give in to this, you might lose the position that you have at the shrine. You might no longer be participating in the mega events that we host at the shrine. So there is, to some extent, power imbalance between the accused and the victim. Another aspect that can support this case of the woman being forced, if there was an exploitation of trust. What needs to be established is, did the accused exploit an existing trust relationship with the victim? For instance, we have therapists and we have mentors who might exploit that trust relationship to take advantage of their patients or of their clients and get them into bed. So if John exploited that trust with the victim, who happens to be the wife of this particular guy, this can be used to support this case of undue influence, to demonstrate that maybe the wife did not give consent willingly. There was some force of manipulation of the dependency that she has on the pastor. Another aspect that can be looked at to support this case, if John has to go to prison, there must be threats or retaliation. If this accused, John Vulligate, threatened this woman, as she claims, or promised the retaliation that if you don't give in, this and that will happen, the woman might have a case to support her giving in to John Vulligate. Because according to the statement, this is the main area that the whole statement is based on. This is the main area that formulated the whole process of John Vulligate ending up on top of this woman. She claims she was threatened. If you don't give in, I'll do you. But the other thing is, there was any gun that was found on the scene. None. Did he run away with it? We still do not know. Another aspect that can support this case of undue influence, the vulnerability of the victim, of the woman. If the victim, which is the woman, is in a vulnerable position, if she is in a vulnerable position, and she emotionally depends, spiritually depends on John Vulligate, on this Pastor John General, this vulnerability can be used to exploit a case of rape due to undue influence. John Vulligate could have manipulated this vulnerability of the victim to coerce her into opening the legs for him. So it might end up leading John Vulligate to what? To prison. Another aspect that might take John Vulligate to prison is there evidence of manipulation, be it explicit texts or any form of communication that can be used to back it up, to show that indeed this woman was manipulated. The woman's phone must be checked. Her conversations with the pastor must be checked. Have they been sending each other smiley emojis? Or has there been any form of the pastor telling the woman that, listen, I'm too dangerous. My anointing is too dangerous. I've told people this in the past. Do you know they subliminally throw threats at people? So that when a time comes for them to ask for some sexual favors, the woman must not say no. You might have gone a long way with this woman telling her that, you know what, there's this one that I wanted to do this with, and she said no. And you know what happened? She was cursed for the rest of her life. She never conceived for the rest of her life. All this could be used as proof and evidence that this John Vulligate was manipulating. This can be used as evidence to prove that John Vulligate was manipulating this woman. So all these things can be used to support this case of undue influence, so that we can find a way to throw John Vulligate behind bars. If there's absence of all these things, then it can only lead us to believing that this woman either gave in willingly, if she was not manipulated, if there was no any element of undue influence, is either she gave consent willingly to John Vulligate and they were in some sort of a relationship. And if they were in a relationship, for how long had they been in a relationship? John Vulligate might walk away a free man if he can prove that this was my side chick, if he can prove that this was my girlfriend. And then it's definitely not going to be classified as rape. So my people, you tell me what you think. I honestly think that if this woman was not caught, we were not going to be having this conversation. If the husband had not got back home and found this happening, This was never going to be spoken of. It was going to be their little dirty secret. It's only raped today because she was caught during the act. Let me know what you think. It's Mr. PDT, and I'm out.